Hello! Today I have a different kind of dish that is perfect for hot summer days and a great way to get in extra servings of fruits and veggies. I'm going to show you how to make cantaloupe cucumber gazpacho. Now, gazpacho is a traditional no-cook tomato-based soup from Spain that's served chilled, which makes it a popular dish to enjoy during the hotter months. But today we are giving it a fruit twist. We're going to use cantaloupe. When you're selecting a cantaloupe at the store, you want to give it a sniff and make sure it smells sweet. Also, it should feel pretty heavy for its size when you pick it up. For this recipe, I'm going to need 3 cups of roughly diced cantaloupe. So I'm just going to cut it into quarters like this. We'll start with halves. And I'm going to scoop out the seeds. Getting all of them. Okay. Take off the rind using our knife. You want it all off. This smells very sweet. I picked a good one. There we go. Get it all off. I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to give it a quick chop as well. And then I'm going to go into smaller pieces to put into the food processor. There we go. I think that'll do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, remember that. I'm going to put everything into the food processor, and you can use any kind of melon for this gazpacho, like honeydew, muskmelon, or even watermelon, depending on what's on sale or what you might have on hand. I've already chopped and measured 3 cups of cantaloupe, and into the food processor it goes. Here we are. And next I have 1 small cucumber that I've peeled and chopped up. Let's get it all in here. And then I'm going to add in a half a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. Now it doesn't have to be plain Greek yogurt. If you only have regular plain yogurt, you can put it into a fine mesh strainer or into a layer of cheesecloth and let some of the liquid drip out until you have a thicker yogurt in the style of Greek yogurt. I'm gonna pour it in. Next, I have some fresh ginger root, and this is what it looks like. To use it, you need to peel off the outer skin, and I do that by using a spoon to scrape it off, like this. Now, I'm going to grate it on a grater, like this. It's still gonna take a minute. I need about a half a teaspoon. There we go. Now, whenever I have leftover ginger root, I chop it into 1-inch pieces, like this. And then I just keep them in a resealable bag in my freezer. That way, I can just take out pieces as I need them for recipes, and it keeps much longer than just storing it in the refrigerator. So, back to our gazpacho. Here I have 2 tablespoons of fresh basil that I've just gently torn up, and 2 teaspoons of fresh mint that I also just gently torn up. And next, 1 small jalapeno pepper. Now, when chopping a jalapeno, let's make some space here. You want to be careful not to touch your eyes or nose while cutting, as the oils can really irritate your skin. Some people even wear rubber gloves when cutting the hot peppers. I'm just going to take my paring knife and I'm going to cut through. Take my end off first. And now I'm going to remove all the seeds and the white membrane, this right here. You want to be careful, so I want to be careful on how I hold it. There you go. I scoop out the seeds. That is where the heat is stored in the pepper, which is why I want to take that off. Now, once I do that, I want to make sure to wash my hands after so I don't get any, hot oils on my skin. I'm going to do the second pepper. Removing. And put them into my processor. I'm going to wash my hands quickly. And just a substitution tip. If you don't like spicy food and you prefer mild dishes, you could use a sweet bell pepper of any color instead of that jalapeno. Next, into the food processor, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil. And, well, you could use canola oil if you prefer. And just a splash of white wine vinegar. 1/4 teaspoon, just for a little zing. But really, you could use any type of vinegar. And last, I'm adding a little more heat with a pinch, 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. But if you like your food mild, you could leave that out too. So, we're going to blend that. Now, you can use a blender here, or instead, if you don't have access to a food processor or the blender, you could just dice the ingredients into very small pieces. Mix everything together and whisk it, and it would still taste terrific. Now, that looks nice and smooth. And I'm just going to pour the soup over the bowl that I have right here. Let me take this out first. Here we are. And I'm going to cover it because now I'm going to chill it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. That's because it's best served cold. So, here I have our chilled gazpacho poured into soup bowls and garnished with some extra mint leaves. I'm going to give it a taste. Wow, that is so fresh and delicious. You can taste the sweet melon and the spicy heat from the jalapeno. So, now that you know that soup isn't always served warm, and that cantaloupe cucumber gazpacho is a super quick way to enjoy fruits and vegetables during the hot days of summer when you don't feel like turning on the stove or the oven, enjoy!